Hello, mighty companions. I want to welcome you to Facebook Live and A Course in Miracles. And we're going to talk about, today we're going to finish up and do a quick review on the section that deals with what's the Loving Right Mind's curriculum, what's the Holy Spirit's curriculum. And the Course in Miracles defines the Holy Spirit as our sane mind. So yes, we do have one. It's in there. We can get it, we can find it, we can focus in on it, and we can have it. So we're going to talk about how does the correct mind, the right mind, the sane mind, what is the curriculum that we're learning and how to deal with every single thing that people are expressing around us in our world, and the way to react to it and the way to respond to it according to the Course in Miracles. And so I'd like to start out with our theme song, which is based on a lesson in the Course in Miracles. And you know what that is. I am not a victim of the world I see. Or, I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. So we're going to listen to Brother John Christmas a minute at johnChristmas.com. And here we go. Not a victim of the world. So pay particular attention to the lyrics of this. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, say what? Of the world I see. No matter what, I'm not a victim of my fall. I'm not a victim of my fall. Not a victim of even circumstance at all. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. That's what's happening, including the good stuff. I'm not a victim of the future, not a victim of the past, not a victim of anything that really doesn't last. I'm not a victim, oh yeah, of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. Yeah, I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. Does it sometimes look like it though? Doesn't it sometimes look like we're a victim of everything? But that's not the truth. That is not the truth. So, I'm going to dive into this. Now, don't forget, I'm the divine repetition teacher. The Course in Miracles says the way that you learn a new idea is not through our understanding. It says our understanding is not a powerful contribution to the truth. And our understanding doesn't make anything true. So it's not something that's true because I understand it, or something that's true because you understand it and you agree with it, which is kind of arrogant if you think about it. Like something's not true unless I say it is. Right? Unless I agree with it, it's not true. And so the Course is saying it's not our understanding that makes it work. It's practicing what it says and remembering to practice what it says. So my focus is on the practical application of the Course in Miracles in our everyday life. My personal belief is if I can't use it in my everyday life, what good is it? Really, we can, if I can't use it every day. And what's so cool about the Course in Miracles is that the only thing it's asking us to do is to look at things differently. And it tells us over and over again that when you change your perception, you change your whole reality and your whole experience of your reality. So we're going to start out on paragraph 10, but I like to always start out with the guidelines that the Course in Miracles itself gives for how to study the Course. And the Course says that the only thing you need to remember is that you need not believe the ideas. You need not accept the ideas. And some of the ideas you may actively resist. And some of the ideas you will find hard to believe. And some of the ideas may startle you. And you're not being asked to judge and analyze the ideas at all. It's using the ideas that will give the ideas meaning to us and will show us that they're true. It is using the ideas that will give them meaning and will show us that the ideas are true. And I work out of the book because the Course in Miracles says a good teacher is a good motivator. So it's not about how I can make you understand the concepts of the Course in Miracles. It's really, can some way that it come through me motivate you to do your own study and application on your own. A good teacher is a motivator. So it says you can't change anybody's mind, but what you can try to do is motivate them to change their own mind. You can't change your children, but maybe you can motivate them to want to be better children. You can't change your mate, but maybe you can motivate your mate to want to be more loving. So a good teacher is what? A motivator. He's a motivator. So paragraph 10 on page 217. Page 217 in the text, paragraph 10. And what does it say? It says, if you would look upon love, what is love? The Course in Miracles reads as if you don't know what it's talking about. So it explains itself as it expresses itself. One of the biggest errors that people make, in my opinion, from studying the Course so long is that they analyze it and they try to give it their meaning of what it means and not the Course in Miracles meaning of what it means. Like, for instance, he says, if you would look upon love, then he goes, well, what is love? Well, love is the world's reality. Well, how could you do better than recognizing every defense against love, the underlying appeal for love? So fear is a defense against love. Anger is a defense against love. Depression is a defense against love. Seeing yourself as separate is a defense against love. So every time you see fear, anger, guilt, sorrow, and upset, what the Course says, why don't you see that as an appeal for love? It's actually making us forget about love when we're mad and when we're upset. But the Course says, well, if you use it correctly, every time you experience that, you should realize that what you are dealing with is a call for love. When I'm afraid, I'm calling for love. When I'm angry, I'm calling for love. When I'm depressed, I'm calling for love. So in every defense against love, there is the call for love. So if that's true, is this world as we perceive it a great big call for love?
Yes.
Absolutely. And do you have a few relatives that are great big calls for love?
Yes.
Sometime this week, have you been a great big call for love? Right. So whatever you're upset about anything was this week, it really was you calling for love, calling for the help of God. The Course says you are not the one that's supposed to see yourself as necessarily being the helper, because he says you can't really even help yourself. So you should see what people are doing as a call for the help of God. And then the Course says in another part of the book, lesson 71, it says, and what you should do, though, is you should ask the Creator, what do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? What do you want me to say? And who do you want me to say it to? That's your job, is to ask. You're not meant to help everybody. You're not going to be asked to help everybody. Do you know who you're not supposed to help? The person you don't want to. So someone, the Spirit is guiding you to help. It says you'll be motivated to do it, you'll be inspired to do it, you'll be willing to do it, and you want to do it. So if that's not the way you're feeling, then you aren't the one. Because at some level, you're probably building some form of resentment. right? So the Course says, and how could you better learn of the reality of love than by answering the appeal for love by giving love? So right there, he says, well, how do you learn that love is real? Well, I answer your call for love by being willing to give you love. That's how I become aware that love is real. Because if I'm the one that's willing to give it, then I know love must be real. Because at least one person is willing to try to give it. So it is real. It's real if I'm willing to let it come through me. And if I'm willing to let it express through me, then that's at least one person I know this love is coming through. So love really is real. Love is real. Love is real. The problem with love is that it includes everything and everyone equally. And the way we do love is very exclusive and it's directed towards certain people, depending on how they act. So our love is totally conditional. The Course calls our love a bargain made with guilt. Okay, I'm going to give you my love if you act right. And if you don't, I'm going to make you feel so guilty, you do what I want you to do. Anybody ever tried to use guilt to manipulate anybody in here? Say yes.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Like I said, denial is what? Not a river in Egypt. Okay. Denial is not a river in Egypt. Okay. Okay. So if you grew up in this world, you probably have tried to use anger and guilt at some point to try to get somebody to do what you want them to do. That's not love. That's not love. That's not love. So what does it say next? Well, the Holy Spirit's interpretation of fear does dispel it. So what is the Holy Spirit's interpretation of fear? It's what? A call for love. It says, for the awareness of truth cannot be denied. If you are aware of love, you can't deny it. If you are aware of the truth, you can't deny it. And so what the Holy Spirit, which is our sane, loving mind, the part of us that's sane, the part of us that's loving, the Course calls the Holy Spirit. He says that part of us will replace fear with love. And that's the same as it's going to translate error into truth. What's the error? Being in fear and separation. What's the truth? Being in love and oneness. The Course is not complicated. We complicate it according to the Course to destroy the meaning of what it's saying so that we don't use it. So analyzing the Course just confuses everybody, and then they walk away more confused than before they walked in the door. So be aware of studying the Course as being everybody sitting around giving their interpretation of what the Course is saying, rather than everyone diving into it and remembering what it's saying. And everything I've said is what it's saying. It's saying when you feel angry and upset, that's your call for love. It's saying that the purpose of the Holy Spirit is to take your fear and translate it and change it over into love. So thus, he says, will you learn of the Holy Spirit how to replace your dream of separation with the fact of unity? So does that mean that it's through the Holy Spirit that you replace your separation with unity? Yeah, it doesn't mean that's something you're going to do on your own. It's going to be something you do through God and through the voice for God. That's how we do this. The Course in Miracles is not a typical self-help book. In a typical self-help book, the approach of it is to teach you how to handle everything better on your own. The Course in Miracles is a spiritual teaching. So it's really teaching us how to get out of the way and to remove the blocks to allow a higher power to function in our life. So it's a book that's much more about our relationship with Spirit, our relationship with God. It's not a book that's trying to put us more in charge. The reason why you're going through the stuff you're going through now is because you're in charge. That's the truth. He says it in the book. He said, everything you've ever failed at is something you're trying to do. And everything that you've seen is successful is something that you've done with Spirit. So that's how you can tell when you were doing something with God. If you're doing something with love, you succeed. If you're doing something that's not with God and love, you think you failed. That's too simple. It also makes it too easy to tell where I still think I'm in charge. Tell me the area of your life that you're most dissatisfied in, and I'll tell you the area of your life that you're still doing it the way you think it should be done. Wow. So, For the separation is only the denial of union. So you and I are separate from each other. So what does that mean? We are denying that we are joined. That's why we think it's so many separate people sitting up in the room, because we're in denial that we are one. So therefore we see each other as separate from each other. See how simple that is? Separation is the denial that we are united. Is that everybody with that? Okay. Then he goes, but if you correctly interpret it, it attests to your eternal knowledge that union is true. So what is the correct interpretation of separation? He just said it. It's the denial of union. But if you're denying union, then you're acknowledging that union must be true. Yeah. Right? So if I'm denying union, that actually is a witness that there must be union, but I'm in denial about it. So correctly interpreted, separation is the acknowledgement that we're joined. Now that's different, right? I think so if you're upset with somebody, you can very easily go, right now I'm denying my union with you. I'm totally denying my union with you 100%. I do not feel joined with you at all. Right? So now I'm using my denial of union to remind me of union.
Mm-hmm. It's perfect.
It's perfect. It's perfect. So that was the end of that section, but it was such a powerful section that I want to do quickly a review of the main points that we covered in this section. I color code my sections in the course because it helps me out a lot when I do that. The pink is anything that the course says about the Holy Spirit, love, and God. Mm. The yellow is any instruction that he tells us that we should be doing. The blue is the ego. Anything that it says about the ego, fear, and separation. And when I highlight the orange are the questions. So if I want to go back to a chapter and just see what it was I was being told to do, then I just read the yellow. If I want to hear how I'm screwing up, I just read the blue. Okay? And if I want to feel better, I just read the pink. Right? So some days I have pink days. Right? I've been going through the book through all my pink the last couple of weeks. Just reading the loving stuff. All the stuff that tells me it's going to be all right. Because sometimes that's all you need to hear. It's something telling you it's going to be all right. And then if you're wondering what you're doing wrong, I just blew it. Which kind of makes sense, because when you're unhappy, what do you say? I feel real blue.
Sad and blue.
I feel blue.
Or black and blue.
Yeah. And I'm both of them. I'm black, green, blue. So that just adds a whole nother level of my stuff. I am black and blue. Okay. I tell you, I've had so many different bodies and lost count. And that's true in this life too. My body count's kind of high this lifetime. But I ain't going to go into no details about that. I had a lot of bodies. They weren't always mine. That's right. Okay, so let's yellow it up. Okay, the Holy Spirit's curriculum. You want to make it simple? Go love's curriculum. Mm-hmm. Okay? What's the judgment of a loving spirit? What's the judgment of a loving mind? Well, he says you've been told not to make error real. The way you not make error real is very simple. To believe in error, you would have to make it real because error isn't true. What you mean error isn't true? How could it be true if it's a mistake? So error isn't true. It's what's not true. That's why you call it an error. It's not what's true, right? But if you want to believe in it, what would you have to do? He said, well, you have to make it real. So if I believe something about you that's not true, but I want to keep believing something about you that's not true, then I have to make it real to me. And so the Course says to believe in truth, you don't have to do anything. See, to believe in gravity, I don't have to do anything. It's doing this thing whether I believe it or not. So what's cool about something that's true is you don't have to do anything, right? If something is untrue, then you got to make it true. And you make it true to you through your belief. So your beliefs and your perception don't necessarily reflect the truth. It just reflects what you want to believe is the truth. So your perception is always taking you back to what you believe. So what you see is what you believe, but it's not necessarily what's true. Right? Okay, so it says analyzing the motives of other people is hazardous to you. So that's instruction number one. If you're sitting around trying to figure out where everybody else is coming from, he says that's hazardous to you. So if you decide that somebody's really trying to attack you, or you decide somebody's really trying to enslave you or hurt you, he says, well, you're going to react to them as if they've actually done it. If I think you don't like me, I'm going to react to you as if you are somebody who doesn't like me. So however I decide you feel about me, then I'm going to react to you as if it's true. So I've made the error that I see in you real to me. So if I focus my attention on what I think is wrong with you and what you've done wrong, he says, then that's giving it power. I think you don't like me. I'm interpreting how you don't like me. So now I'm just making it realer. And now I remember the last time I saw Terry, she didn't speak to me. She didn't speak to me today, but she didn't speak to me the last 2 times. See, I'm making it real. I'm making it more and more real. And besides that, that's true of every woman with long hair. Right? So you start to bring the association in it. And not to mention the ones with tie-dye dresses. Those are the ones I really have to watch out for, the tie-dye women. See, I'm making it real. I'm bringing my story. I'm interpreting it.
You're making it.
Yeah,
you're not creating, because we don't create, but you make it.
But I'm making
it.
Yeah. That's why it's so funny when I hear the
Make it
term
what it is.
making love. You can't make love. Love already exists. You can just extend it, but you can't make it. But you can make fear. You can make specialness.
All day.
And then you can take that specialness back. Right? So the Course in Miracles says to interpret error is to give it power. And when you are focused in on your error or what you think you're upset about, he says, well, you're going to overlook the truth. What's the truth? The truth is Terry hasn't done anything. I'm making this story up in my mind. I'm reacting to what I think she's doing. So I'm overlooking the truth, which is I'm the one that's making me mad. See, that's what people do all the time. They overlook the truth, which is you're the one that's making yourself upset. And you're making yourself upset by the meaning that you're giving to this person or this situation. That's what's making you upset. But you're overlooking that, thinking that the problem is the thing outside of you that's going on that you don't like. Is that familiar? Right? And so the Course in Miracles tells us on the next paragraph, I'm going through the yellow, that there is only one interpretation of motivation that makes any sense. So I like to use concrete examples. So I'm trying to figure out where somebody's coming from. What's the way I should look at it that makes any real sense from a spiritual perspective? He says, well, there's only one interpretation of motivation that makes any sense. And since it is Spirit's judgment, it requires no effort on your part. So why is it that this judgment doesn't require effort on your part? Because it's somebody else's judgment. It's Spirit giving me the judgment that I should have about you. So that's why it doesn't require any effort on my part. It's being given to me. The way to look at you is being given to me. So that doesn't require any effort on my part. Somebody's going to give you a lift home. Again, you just accept it. It doesn't require any effort on your part because you're using somebody else's help. Well, the same thing with the Course. We are being given new interpretations of ways of looking at things that would allow us to have more peace of mind. And he says when you have peace of mind, it's when you can hear the voice of the Holy Spirit inside yourself. That you can hear your guidance when you're at peace. He says you can't hear your guidance when you're in conflict. So there's no such thing as I'm in anger and conflict and I'm hearing my guidance. You know why? Because if I was truly hearing my guidance and acting on my guidance, I wouldn't be in anger and conflict. So there's no such thing as I'm all upset, but I'm seeing it right. Right? And that's what people tend to do. They think they're the most correct when they're upset. Right? You know, so the Course in Miracles is saying to us, I'm going to give you Holy Spirit, which is your loving right mind. So he says your loving right mind is going to give you the judgment that you're supposed to use in any situation with everybody. And that judgment is every loving thought is true. Everything else is an appeal for healing and help. Every loving thought is true. Everything else is a call for help. Every loving thought is true. Everything else is a call for help. Every loving thought is true. Everything else is a call, an appeal for healing and help, regardless of the form it takes. So it could take the form of robbery. It could take the form of attack. It could take the form of sickness. It could take the form of anything other than love. The Spirit Course has said anything other than love is a call for it. No matter what it looks like. It could be murder. It's still a call for help. It's still a call for healing. No matter what we're looking at in this world, no matter what we look at on TV, no matter what's happening, it's either love that we're looking at or we're looking at a big call for healing and a big call for help. That's it. Your sickness is a call for help. Your financial situation is really a call for help. Okay? Yeah, you with me? Is this still making sense to everybody? I'm checking in. Now, the truth is, if everybody's calling for help, if your cousin that just cussed you out because they misperceiving you, and that's not love, so what is your cousin doing? Your cousin is calling for healing and calling for help. So, can you be justified in responding with anger at them when now you recognize they're really calling for your help? I said it again. Your cousin just went off on you. They don't see you correctly. They're angry with you. You're a conscious spiritual student. So you're going, oh my God, my cousin has a great big call for help right now going down. That's what they're doing. They're calling for, I know they cussed me out. And normally I would respond right back with anger because they were acting angry at me. And they're attacking me. So what am I going to do? I'm going to come right back at them with a lot of attack. That's what we usually do, right? But now, because I'm learning from a course in miracles, right, it's told me I don't have to believe it. I don't have to accept it. I don't have to welcome it. I could resist it. I could find it hard to believe. And I could even see this as quite startling that I'm supposed to see this as a call for love and this joker is going off on me right now. But the truth is they're calling for my help, so no response can be appropriate except the willingness to give them the help. Because that's what they're asking for. I know it looks like he's cussing you out. He's calling for help. So that's how you're supposed to see it. Are you tempted not to see it that way? Yes. Sometimes will you not see it that way? Yes. Okay, then that means you're responding with less than love. So what are you doing? You're calling for love now. You're the one that's calling for love. So they're calling for, so sometimes y'all call it at the same time. Right? You going off on them, they're going off on you. You're going off on them, they're going off on you. You're mad at them, they're mad at you. We got two people calling for love and calling for help of God at the same time. So if they got any kind of sense whatsoever, they separate to heal until one or both of them has changed their mind enough that they're not attacking each other and recognizing the call for love. The last thing you need to do when both of you are attacking each other is to still keep talking. You need to get away from each other so that you can let the anger die down enough for you to get the guidance from Spirit as to what you should do next. And what would be the first thing you needed to do? You would need to see it as a call for help, that you all were both calling for help at the same time. That's what an argument is, no matter what you're arguing about. Because usually if you're counseling people and you're counseling a couple, but especially, what you're hearing back and forth is, if you were different, I'd be happy. No, if you were different, I'd be happy. No, if you were different, I'd be happy. No, if you were different, I'd be happy. You spoke or acted differently, then everything will be all right. And the other person saying, no, if you spoke or acted differently, then I would be happy. So in most cases, we are dependent on the other person to change some kind of way in order for us to feel happy. And that's the wrong perception. That's an incorrect perception. What is an incorrect perception? You telling yourself that your happiness depends on me being a certain way. Anybody ever done that? Have you ever done that? Wanted somebody else to be different so that you would be happy? Okay, so how's it been working out for you? how's that been working out for you? Are you waiting for the perfect person to show up and then you'll be happy? Right? Right. So that's the same thing. That's still you saying something that somebody else outside of you has to be a certain way, then you will be happy. Right? So the Course in Miracles says that's the absolute guarantee that you will feel miserable and never really be happy. Because now you're making your happiness dependent on what you have no control over. You all have no control over how I respond. So if you make your happiness dependent on how I teach, now sometimes people want to tell me how to teach my class, right? And if I teach my class the way they think it should be taught, then they will attend, right? But I know that they're just looking for an excuse not to attend my class. So it really wouldn't make any difference what I did. They still wouldn't attend my class because it had nothing to do with wanting to attend my class. And if they were the right person for my class, how would I know it? They would say, the way you do your class really works for me. That's what they say. And I get comments like that all the time. And then somebody that doesn't feel that way, then I hope they'll love me enough not to. Because to me, nothing's crueler than somebody who doesn't enjoy you and doesn't appreciate you sticking around. That's what it happens in most relationships. To me, that's cruel. If you really don't like me, and nothing about me, leave me.
You're right.
Please. Please. You know, when you wait, the Course in Miracles says you get to the point one day you'll be thankful for the people you get angry with. Because they're giving you another opportunity to remember the truth. They should be triggering you to make you remember. Like, you're going to get to the point that when you see somebody acting crazy, you're going to go, that person is a call for God. Okay? So what did they just do? They just reminded you of the truth, that you need a higher power, that you need to call on. So now the people who used to upset you are now actually reminding you of the truth. So you're using them now for a positive reason. So fear is a positive affirmation. He said that last week. The fear is really a positive affirmation that you believe in the thing that the fear is hiding. So what is fear? Denial of love. What is separation? A denial of union. So if I'm feeling fear, I can really say, you know what? All day long I've been denying love. Today was a crappy day. What happened to you today, Earl? I was denying love all day long, and I was denying my union with everybody, especially you. You know. So now I've just used you to help me remember union and love, right? Just follow my reasoning. So if you're focusing on union and love, what will you manifest in your perception? Union and love, because that's what you're focusing on. In Truth 101 says what you focus on, you create in your perception. Right? Because the Course in Miracles is working with our perception. Only our perception. How you see things determines how you feel. How you see things determine how you feel, not the other person. Here's the weird part. The more you take responsibility for how you see things, much to your surprise, a lot of the people that you were trying to change seem to change. It's the weirdest thing. It's like as soon as you leave them alone, they'll change. Maybe that's what Spirit is trying to tell you. Leave everybody alone. Maybe that's the highest level of consciousness. Just leave me alone. That's right. Have you ever felt like that? Just leave me alone. Everything will be fine. You know, the Course in Miracles says, so much funny stuff in it if you see it correctly. He said, you'll never solve a problem that you remove yourself from. Because you're the problem. So as soon as you leave you out, the problem can't be solved. That's really funny when you think about it. You know, the problem being solved is you need to leave you in it. You are the problem. And you are the solution. Both, right? So it's really fun. So it says, no response can be appropriate, in paragraph 3, it says no response can be appropriate except the willingness to do what? Give the help. Now, giving the help doesn't necessarily mean you're physically doing something. Giving help means you're looking at it the way you should look at it. Just by you looking at it correctly, that's helpful. Just your being able to look at it the way the truth is teaching you to look at it is helpful, which is to never physically attack. And then some people go, well, what about in self-defense? He said, well, actually, if you want to be hardcore honest, you never physically attack. You know, so the Course in Miracles says, this is what the person is asking for. They're asking for help. So if you offer them anything else other than help, what are you doing? Well, he says what you're doing is attacking their reality. See, the reality is you're asking for my help. If I don't want to give you my help, then I'm attacking the truth, which is you're asking for my help. So I'm interpreting this as I see fit. The truth is telling me what you're doing is a call for love. God is telling me what you're doing is a call for love. But guess what? I want to offer you something other than love, right? I want to offer you attack. I want to offer you anger. So in some cases, I want to smack you upside your head. Okay, that's offering something other than love. So that means I'm attacking your reality. Your reality is that you're calling for my help, but I'm interpreting it as I see fit. And the Course in Miracles says that's what y'all do all the time. Y'all interpret everything as you see fit. You want to see it the way you think it should be. And you know it's wrong because you don't have any real peace and you don't have any real joy. And so therefore you know your perception must be wrong because of how you feel. Your feelings let you know how correct your perception is. If you're a great spiritual giant, you read and study a lot of books and go to a lot of classes, you can intellectually tell yourself anything and justify anything. But your feelings will lead you right back to your beliefs every time. That's why feelings are the right use of judgment. How you feel is telling you what you believe. So if you feel crappy, it's something you're telling yourself that is not based and rooted in the truth. That's too simple. Because that means I have to be wrong all day. If I'm upset all day, then I have to admit I'm wrong all day long. You know, if you've ever had a relationship in the last 10 years that worked, you need to try to check yourself out, right? Because you must be telling yourself something about relationships that's not true, or you wouldn't be so lonely and you wouldn't be by yourself. Now, if you're by yourself and you're fine with it, that's one thing. But if you're by yourself and you don't like it, then you need to understand you are not interpreting what you're doing as a call for love. And you're not interpreting what the other people did in other relationships that you were in as a call for love. So you're holding grievances. And those grievances is what's blocking you from letting yourself have love right now. Boy, you're so special, nobody could fit you. You know, that's the other one. You're so special, there's nobody on the face of the earth that could be your partner. That's kind of funny. Because again, it's like funny when you hear it correctly. That's too special, you all. That out of 9 billion people, there's nobody that could take you out. Come on now. Come on. You're just a little too special right now. Okay? Oh, God. Then he says in paragraph 4, in the yellow, it says, there's nothing to prevent you from recognizing calls for help, which is what they are. So why is it I don't want to see what you just did as a call for help? Well, he says it right here. I got a need to attack you, right? You've done something and I got a need to go off on you. So therefore, I don't want to see what you're doing as a call for help, because if I see it as a call for help, I don't feel justified in going off on you. So the truth is, I love how he says, there's nothing to prevent you from recognizing calls for help as what calls for help are, except your need to attack, your imagined need to set that person straight, your imagined need to go off. He says that's going to keep you from saying that's a call for help, because you've been programmed not to attack somebody that needs help. It's like somebody that just got injured in a car accident. They call him for help and you walk up to him and you smack him, you know, because you're not willing to see it as a call for help. You're seeing it as something else. And that's what the Course in Miracles is saying. I'm not telling you to do anything that you couldn't do, since I'm just telling you how you should see it. So I'm not telling you to do anything you couldn't do today if you wanted to. Why won't you do it? Because you still feel a need to respond some other way other than that. That's why I don't want to recognize this as a call for help. I don't want to see the Ku Klux Klan is calling for my help. I don't want to see what they're saying about somebody with my color body as a call for love. I might feel like I need to attack them, right? And that's what he's telling me. What it keeps me from seeing it as a call for the help of God is my own need to attack them. That's why you don't see somebody that's making you mad is calling for help. you want to be mad at them. You want to be separate from them. Right? Okay? Now, I'm just going straight out of the book. That's why I work out of the book all the time. Why? Because if I can get this reading this right here, you could too. If I can study it, you can study it. If I can focus on it, you can. You know, a good teacher makes themselves unnecessary. He says a good teacher makes themselves unnecessary. So I'm a good teacher. Many women has made me unnecessary in their life. So I've been pretty good at teaching relationships, right? Are you kind of unnecessary for some people you've been with? Well, they learned as much as they could from you. You did a good job. They don't need you no more, and you don't need them no more. Y'all learned as much as y'all could at the time. And the Course says most relationships are temporary relationships where you come together, he calls it, and have an intense teaching, he calls it an intense teaching, learning situation. He says, and then you appear to separate. That's normal. He says that's more normal than spending your whole lifetime with somebody. That's not what happens the most. What happens the most is what? We come together, we learn a lot from each other, then it looks like we separate. So we got a lot of people walking around thinking that they can't have relationships. They don't realize, no, you just been having the most typical type of relationship. And so you innocent. No, most relationships are not lifelong relationships. So to expect every relationship you have to be something that lasts the rest of your life is an unrealistic demand of a relationship. So you are not failures in relationships. Some of you are just great at coming together, separating, coming together, separating, coming together, separating, coming together, separating. That's what sex is. You just do it a lot faster.
In some cases.
It is definitely a call for help. I know spiritual students don't talk about sexuality. I know y'all are so far beyond the body. What are you talking about? Huh? What? And don't talk about money either. I'm beyond that too. I'm a spiritual student. I don't mention that I really want money or that I really want to make love. That's not spiritual. That's not spiritual. I'm just never going to bring that up in any class whatsoever. Okay? All right. But I'm looking for the people, the down-to-earth, regular folk. You know, people who think they're really spiritual in most cases are boring. I went to the Sinners Ball just the other night. That was what the name of it was, the Sinners Ball. I said, I got to check this out. Because I know they're going to give me a pass. I know they're going to let me right in. You know? Oh, God, I laugh the most when I'm teaching. Most of the time, I'm on top of a building thinking about jumping off. Okay. Oh, God. Okay. So guess what? He says, there's nothing to prevent you from recognizing all calls for help for what they are, except your own need to attack. And your own need to attack makes you willing to do what? Engage in battles with reality in which you deny the reality of the need for healing by making it unreal. I'm not going to see this as a call for love. He says you wouldn't do this except for your unwillingness to accept the truth or reality as it is. So he says, well, then you withhold it from yourself, right? If I don't want to see what you do as a call for love and a call for help, then I am withholding help from myself, because what I give is what I'm going to receive. Mm-hmm. So if I'm seeing what you do as a call for help, then I'll also perceive a reality where what I do is perceived as a call for help. So now, since I've been training my mind for 40 years to see things as a call for help, you know what happens usually when I act crazy and I'm in my ego and I go off? I attract compassion and understanding. People will go, hey, what's going on? How can I help you? Wow, seems like you're really upset. Where in the old days, before reprogramming myself with the Course, if I was angry, they'd come back at me just as angry. Now people come back with, oh man, something must really be bothering you. What's up? That's because I have been calling what everybody else does as a call for love. And so I've created a reality where what I do is a call for love, because your reality is a reflection of your thoughts, your actions, your beliefs, your consciousness. It's all being projected from you. Wow. Wow, projection makes perception. Projection is perception. You're only seeing what you are projecting. You're only seeing what you projected that boyfriend, girlfriend, your perception of your finances, your perception of your health. Everything you're seeing, the way you see it, is your projection. And what the Course does, which is really cool, is it tells you, I'm going to give you the interpretations, I'm going to give you the meanings that you should give things, and I promise you, if you use these meanings, you're going to find you're going to have a lot more peace in your life. And you don't even have to believe it because it's the truth. But I just want you to use it whether you believe it or not. What could be easier than that? Say this whether you believe it or not. Say it's a call for help. Say it's a call for love. Say it's a call for love. Say it's a call for love. I know you don't believe it. I know you don't feel it. I know you don't accept it, but your belief isn't necessary. I told you that at the beginning of the thing. This came straight from the book. You don't have to believe it. I want you to say it, because if you say it enough, you will believe it. If you repeat it enough, you will believe it. Don't spend all your time analyzing what it means. I've already told you what it means. They're upset. They're calling for help. If you want your call for help answered, you see theirs as a call for help. The only reason why you don't want to do it is you want to attack them. You don't want to see it as a call for help. So it's surely good advice to tell you, don't judge what you don't understand. So if you don't understand me, don't judge me. If you don't understand me, don't judge me. Don't judge what you don't understand. I've used the example many times. I'm going to use it again. I do astrology. If you don't know nothing about astrology, and I say your Mars is square your Uranus, there's nothing worse than having your Mars square your Uranus. It can be painful sometimes.
Ouch.
Yeah. But if you don't know what that means, can you judge it? If you don't know what that means, could you say that's bad or good? If you don't know astrology, you wouldn't know if that was bad or good. Why? Because you don't understand it. So you don't judge what you don't understand because you don't understand it, so how can you judge it? And here's another good sentence that it says, no one with a personal investment is a reliable witness. So you don't go to your girlfriend to ask her opinion of you going out with another woman for lunch. She got a personal investment. She's not going to be a reliable witness. Nobody with a personal investment is a reliable witness. You know, you asking your lawyer to recommend another lawyer, they're probably not going to do it because they have a personal investment which you continue to be, them continuing to be your lawyer. So if you want to get an objective opinion about anything, what do? You don't ask somebody with a personal investment. That's why you talk to people on the airplane. Okay. They can give you some of the best advice you ever had because they could care less about who you do anything with, right? But we don't do that. We go to the people who have deep investments, right? So the Course says, no one with a personal investment is a reliable witness. Truth to the person with a personal investment has become what they want the truth to be. So if you're unwilling to perceive and appeal for help, if you don't want to see a person's call for help as a call for help, if you're unwilling to see a person's call for help as a call for help, then you're not willing to give help. So therefore you're saying, I'm not willing to accept help. I'll say that again. If you're unwilling to perceive and appeal for help as it is, you are unwilling to receive help. You're letting the universe, you don't want to have help. When you have fear, and you're expressing something other than love, you're not willing to receive help because you're not willing to see what other people are doing that's not loving as a call for help. In case you're wondering why it looks like you don't get the help that you need when you think you need help. Wow. So if you fail to recognize a call for help, do you know what that means? What does it say? You're refusing help yourself. So if I'm not willing to see what you do as a call for help, I'm refusing help. And would you maintain you don't need help? Would you maintain that you don't ever need help? Well, you are maintaining that when you refuse to recognize what somebody else does as a call for help, then you're refusing help. So ask yourself, how many times a day do you see the crazy stuff going on in the world as a call for love and a call for help? Or do you find yourself criticizing it, condemning it, and responding to it in some way other than seeing it as a call for help? Because you have a need to criticize the Republicans, and you have a need to criticize the Democrats. You have a need to criticize the independents. You see what I'm saying? I have my need to criticize, and my desire to criticize is stronger than my desire to see all those jokers that's calling for help. Because that's what they doing. All of them. All the time.
Call for help.
It's a call for help. You know, if you're sick, that's a call for help. So you would go, right now I have a deep call for help, and it's taking the form of me needing to have something done about my heart condition. That's my call for help. That's my request for help. And then I ask myself, how many times a day am I really doing what this book is telling me to do? And am I complaining that I'm not getting the result? But the truth is I'm just reading the recipe book, but I'm not actually following the instructions. See, that's what I ask myself. You know, are you reading the recipe book of truth, but the truth is, when was the last time you did your workbook lesson?
That part.
Or when was the last time you said that really is a call for help, a call for love, a call for healing? Yet I'm expecting to get the result, but I'm actually not doing what I'm being told. So I'm trying to form relationships with people who want to support each other in doing the practical application of what the Course is saying. Because I'm tired of just dealing with the theory level, but now I want to have it operating in my everyday life. So I want to be around people who are just trying to also see things the way it's being suggested. And we're helping each other remember to do that. We're not spending all our time analyzing what the meaning of it is. He just told me, by answering his appeal, you can be helped. By answering his appeal, you can be helped. Deny the person your help, and you won't recognize God's answer to you. God is answering me. Why don't I recognize it? Because I'm not seeing what anybody else does as a call for help. And he's telling me until I see what everybody else does as a call for help, I can be getting an answer from Spirit, but I won't recognize the answer that I'm getting from Spirit. And so I claim Spirit isn't answering me. He's already saying, you're not going to recognize God's answer until you start doing what you're being told, which is to see what everybody else is doing as a call for love. The Holy Spirit, I love this line, Holy Spirit doesn't need your help. The Holy Spirit doesn't need your help in interpreting motivation. Holy Spirit doesn't need, the Holy Spirit doesn't go, hey, Purdy, what you think about her? What you think about him? You know, the Holy Spirit doesn't need my help in interpreting where everybody's coming from. Why? Because we've already been told where everybody's coming from. Where are they coming from? They're calling for help. They're calling for love. They're calling for healing if they're doing anything other than experiencing love. I've already gotten the interpretation that I'm supposed to use. Why am I not using it? Because I still have a desire to suffer. I still have a desire to attack. I still have a desire not to see them in a loving way. Because I'm trying to keep the help and love from coming to me. See, it always loops back to how you feel about yourself, because you're really holding back the help from yourself when you don't do it.
And you want to be a victim.
And you want to be a victim. And if you want to be a victim, there's always some payoff you're getting out of it that makes you not want to let it go. That's what the Course says. That the reason why you're not really willing to let go of it is you're getting some kind of a payoff out of it. So the last thing I'm going to say is, the only appropriate response to another person is appreciation. Do you know the only right response to another person is appreciation? And so people say, well, you mean I'm supposed to appreciate the guy that broke into my house? Because let's get down real, right? Or unreal. Yeah, he says gratitude is due to that person for their loving thoughts and also their appeals for help. Because if they robbed you, they had a call for help. If they robbed you, they had a call for help. So why should I be thankful to them? Because both their loving thoughts and their call for help are both capable of bringing love into my awareness, just like I said earlier. If I see what you're doing is love, or you broke into my house and that's a call for love, what are you making me aware of? Love. What are you making me aware of? Love. Love, call for love. Love, call for love. Love, call for love. All day long. Love, call for love. Love, call for love. Person gave you a finger in the traffic. Call for love. Call for love. Call for love. All day long might have been a call for love, 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 call for love. Do you go home? Call for love, call for love, call for love, call for love. Look at your bank account. Call for love, call for love, call for love, call for love. Your body. Call for love, call for love, call for love. So what are you hearing all day? Love, 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 help, 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 healing, 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 love, 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 help, help, help. So if that's all you're hearing all day, and that's all you're focusing in on all day, what do you think you're going to start experiencing no matter what? Love, 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 healing, 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 help, help, help. And there's nothing that the Course in Miracles has told us to do that we couldn't do today. if we wanted to. There's nothing I've said to you all today that you couldn't do right now. There was nothing I said today that you couldn't do right now. Because it already told you didn't have to believe it. It already said we didn't have to accept it. It already said we didn't have to welcome it. It's already said that. So you can't use that excuse of I'm not going to do it because I don't believe it. The book is saying I don't care if you believe it. You arrogant little. That's your call for love. Right? So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to practice doing with each other. So that's why the only appropriate response to any of you all is appreciation, because you all are helping me bring love constantly, or the idea of healing constantly, into my awareness. And so therefore I become more aware of it. So whenever you see fear, it's just a denial that you know some love is really there that you're not giving yourself right now. Whenever you feel separate, you can go, I'm denying the union that we have right now. So separation correctly interpreted makes me aware we're joined. And fear and anger correctly interpreted makes me remember love and peace. Because that, therefore you can't lose with those two perceptions. All right, I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna do this just a 1 minute recap in just a minute. And we're gonna do a call for love. We're gonna do a donation if you'd like to. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to share with yourself. I appreciate you too. Let me pass that around. I'm a full-time teacher of the course. I do it on a donation basis. And so I am glad and thankful to you when you see value enough and you're able to and you share with me. Those online, if you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation, then you can use Zelle, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, my website, and Bubble. All you need is my email address, which is earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. That's Purdy, P-U-R-D-Y. Those of you who like to have one-on-one sessions with me called clarity sessions, where we deal with whatever your issue is, that you know you're ready to get past that issue, then have a session with me. It's called a clarity session. And you just go to my website, earlpurdy.com. It will give you all the details, and you can self-book a session with me right online. Those who are open and receptive to it and are really interested in higher consciousness and getting in touch with their purpose and how to fulfill their purpose for being here at a deeper level in another way, I'm also available through my practice of astrology and numerology. The Course in Miracles teaches that whatever you've made, whatever your skill is, whatever you are doing can be used by Spirit as a tool of awakening, a tool for love. So I'm available for that, for those who are open and receptive to it. On Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, I do Facebook Live, A Course in Miracles, and you can attend in person at 1555 Race Street if you're in Denver area. 1555 Race Street. That's 80206 is the zip. So that's 1 o'clock. It's online, and you can show up in person. Thank you all for coming and showing up in person, because I know you could just stay at home and watch it online. So the fact that you were willing to come and join, I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. The vast majority of the people that watch me and students are online. And I want to thank you for checking out my classes and what I'm doing. YouTube let me know that I've had over 1.5 million views, and that the subscribers have got up to 5,000. So thank you, those of you who see what I do as helpful. I'm teaching what I need to learn. I'm teaching what I need to learn. Then on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook, Earl Purdy page, I do hardcore Course in Miracles. That's just online only, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And you can always watch the replays, and I upload all of my classes to YouTube, so you don't have to necessarily be on Facebook to watch my classes. And with YouTube, you can control the speed of the playback. I think you can also do it on Facebook. So You can see an hour class in 30 minutes if you want to. You know, you can get it over as quick as possible. I want to be done with him. Beat him up. You know, scupple up, scupple up, scupple up, scupple up. You know. You know, if nothing else, you'll get a good laugh, right? Right? So that's 7 o'clock Mountain Time on the Earl Purdy page. Okay, here we go. Do you know that your interpretation of reality, your interpretation of what's going on, that's meaningless. It's meaningless. Your interpretation of what's going on is meaningless in your divided state. But do you know that the Holy Spirit's interpretation, that love's interpretations remain consistently true? Guess what else? The Holy Spirit gives you its interpretations. The Holy Spirit gives you its interpretations because the interpretations of love are for you. Don't attempt to help a person in your own way because you cannot help yourself. You cannot help yourself. You cannot help yourself. So don't try to help someone in your own way. Don't try to help someone in your own way. Hear that person's call for God. Hear that person's call for God. They may be calling you a low-down dog, but they really are calling for God. You need to recognize that that person is calling for the help of God, and then you will recognize your own need for the Creator. Your interpretations of your brother's needs are your interpretations of your needs. By giving help, you're asking for help. By giving help, you are asking for help. Just see one need in yourself, which is the healing of your own mind. Just see one need in yourself, which is the healing of your own mind, and you will be healed, 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 you will be healed. So I'll say it one more time. Your interpretation of another person's needs, that's your interpretation of your needs. So by giving help, you're asking for help. Perceive one need in yourself, the healing of your mind, and you will be healed. So recognize God's answer as you would want God's answer, love's answer to be. And if you want the answer of love, if you want the answer of spirit, it will be yours. So remember, every appeal you answer is going to bring the remembrance of your Creator love closer to your awareness for the sake of your need. For the sake of your need, hear every call for help as what it is, so God can answer you. So, by applying the Holy Spirit's interpretation of the reactions of others more and more consistently, seeing it as a call for love, you're going to gain an awareness that that criteria is equally applicable to you. So when you're being crazy, jealous, insecure, sad, blaming, projecting, and sick, you are calling for love, you're calling for help, you're calling for love, you're calling for help, you're calling for love, you're calling for help, you're calling for love. So to recognize fear is not enough to escape from fear. You need to recognize fear. So what is fear? How do you recognize your fear? Your fear is a call for love. If you see your fear as a call for love, that is you recognizing what fear is. To recognize what fear is, you have to just tell the truth about what it is. So what is fear? Fear is a call for love. That's what it is. So when you recognize that, then you are facing your fears without disguise. So when you use this interpretation more and more and more and more and more and more, when you don't protect your old ways of looking at things, the Spirit will reinterpret it, and you need to see attack And anger is a call for love. And C, attack is the call for help. So help can be given you. So when you're feeling fear, when you're feeling angry, when you're feeling upset, that's you having an unconscious recognition that love is being denied to you right now. You're upset because peace is being denied to you right now. You're feeling sad right now because peace and love is being denied right now. So when you see it in other people, you're asking the universe to help you whenever you feel it and whenever you see it. So, your upset is a call for God, is a call for love. You are just one big call for love. You're just one juicy call for love. You're just one juicy call for love. You're just one juicy call for love. You can walk up to that person that you just met, that you're attracted to, and you can say, I'm just your juicy call for love. I'm just your juicy call for love. You don't have any idea how big a call for love I am. We are all calls for love. We are all calls for help. We are all big, luscious, juicy, innocent calls for love. Mighty companions, thank you for showing up today. Could we acknowledge ourselves for being the cause for love that we are? Can we do it more than we do it better than that for us? That's right. Those of you online, I love you. I appreciate you. I told you, put your clothes on.